What is up, dudes? I'm hanging out, bored as shit. I don't know what the fuck this is. We're just hanging out. I got Wirehead in yesterday. I started reading it today, but I'm too damn busy. Looks great so far. Yeah. We're hanging out here. Let's see if any of these dudes want to join. I'll send out the link to the boys. Oh my god, this shit earlier. Eliza Bar did this a little while ago. This is the kind of dumb shit I love. Me and the boys waiting for NFTs to barbecue us alive. It's just me throwing into Rhino. That shit rocks. Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah. I'm just fucking getting all set up here. What's up, Ali? Alejandro. Fucking no, I don't think Kayla is joining. I believe she is probably asleep by now. She's all getting geared up for her. She's doing a trip to Hawaii with a friend of hers. She has a big girl timeshare that she goes on every year. And it's that time of year again, which is why we did our little Ransomverse Hellseekers summit this past weekend. Got together and basically completely outlined like at least 3 years of material for that, so I can start scripting and get scripts over to her to edit and whatnot. Yo started reading Voidwalker today. It's better than Spawn. Oh shit, Dan Dahl, aka Booty Juice. Welcome, dude. Thanks for stopping by, and thank you for going out and grabbing Voidwalker. Love your work, man. Been seeing it. It wasn't coming up on my Twitter a lot until recently, and now it's all over my feed. And I made sure to mark the. I do this with very few people, but I like your stuff so much. I went and put the bell on the notifications, which I always forget you can do on Twitter. But like all my dudes like Jeff and Christian, all of them, I got the notifications on for all their stuff. But Dan Dahl, if you guys aren't familiar already, is an amazing artist. Go check him out. Rex Doom, Butt Sex Party. Yeah, I played a little bit of that Vanguard actually, because Rex Doom tweeted out about it, the new Call of Duty alpha. And it's fun, but it's one game mode, and I was getting kind of bored, so I fucking went my separate way. Shooting this link out. Trying to get some more people lined up for the Patreon podcast and stuff. I'd like to start. We're joking about it, but we'd like to start reaching out to some comedians and stuff and getting them on for there. Try and make it as funny as possible. That's a little bit separate from the comic book stuff. I mean, we riff on comic shit all the time. The first couple episodes are up on YouTube and free, and there's plenty of comic book inspired jokes on there, but that's not serious at all. That's just some added fun for fucking the Patreon dudes, and them supporting us allows us to release it for free later on. We got Institute in chat too. He did the amazing soundtrack for City of Rot, and gave us some of his greatest hits to use for that, to give to you guys, and then a couple of brand new original tracks. He also just did, if you got Wirehead, he's responsible for part of the soundtrack for Wirehead as well. I forget the other guy's name right now, and I feel bad for that. I'm sorry, but our boy Institute, we got him and Rob linked up, and he did some awesome songs for Rob and the dudes. Ghost of Tsushima DLC. I have not played the DLC yet. I'm like at the end of the game, but I cranked through all of that game in a couple of days, and then I go through like spells where I don't have a lot of time to play games anyways, so I played that for a bit, got through a bunch of it, and then have just been on a break from it. When I do have time to play games lately, it's been a lot of Call of Duty in brief spurts. Ghost of Tsushima on PS5. Oh, that's not one of the like free upgrade ones. If you already have it on PS4. I like it better once I start playing it differently, but still only played a few games. Seems sweaty, as the kids say. Yeah, it's like a gunfight or whatever it is in the newer ones. It's fun, and that new Call of Duty, if Call of Duty's your thing, the alpha is free right now on PlayStation 4. It's definitely fun, but it's a real sweaty, like, duos mode. It's this weird sort of duos round-robin battle mode. But it's fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the final game is, because the gameplay itself is really tight, so different game modes will be cool. Oh yeah, Hellseekers is a lot of fun. Hellseekers 2, I haven't talked a ton about it recently, but Hellseekers is essentially the whole pitch for it is like an Image era superhero team learning how to be Golden Age again. That's how I always pitched it. Peter loved it. Jeff loves it. We're excited to get into it. We have, like, it's hard to count the amount of characters that we get to start introducing and stuff. Cade and Voidwalker exist in the same universe, but we always wanted the books to stand on their own as individual stories first, and then we would expand on it later on, and you would see these guys crossing over and team up issues and stuff like that. And that's a lot of what you're going to be seeing in Hellseekers. Eventually, you might see Voidwalker, you might see Cade. You're gonna see a shitload of new characters, villains, heroes, supporting cast. But it's a lot going on. Get those songs from the Wirehead campaign. Yeah, definitely download those. Yeah, it's a beautiful game. I find it relaxing to just ride in those peaceful fields. Yeah, it's up there with just like vibes with Death Stranding. Definitely a lot of fun. A little overrated. It's definitely, like, gameplay wise, it's nothing insane. Like, it was that's what I was bummed about, was they hyped it up on that end, and it ends up just being sort of like an Assassin's Creed kind of game. Which that's why I'm really, I think, just burnt out on gaming in general. You have to be like a really interesting game, or just like really fun all around. The only thing I'm really excited for lately is that Clout Games indie company that's just like their little Patreon, and I think it's a bunch of Russian dudes out of St. Petersburg. They're doing a game called Ill, which I'm sure you guys have seen either on your own or through me retweeting it. I straight up sent those guys my resume a couple months back, because it's like, if you need a writer or anything, I fucking love this. This is my kind of jam, and I would love to collaborate with those dudes. But either way, that is a game I am hyped for. Really hoping it sees it all the way through and comes out, and they actually recently posted that they locked in funding. Yeah, so Hellseekers is a team book in the Ransomverse. It takes place in the same universe as Can't Kill Cade and Voidwalker. Essentially, they're an all new team technically in the world, but they were a sort of like a special forces superhero team decades back. The idea is these guys existed for years and you guys hadn't heard about them. They had their own like golden age and everything. They had their Image muscle era, and at some point they crossed this line and decided to pack it up and retire. Leave the saving the day to a new generation. That new generation happens to be a little bit misguided and out of control. And when old threats come out of hiding, and some potentially back from the dead, I guess is the easiest way to explain it. This old team gets back together while gathering some new members and sort of dusting off the cobwebs and learning how to be heroes again. But we get that out of the way really quickly. That's sort of the intro arc. If I could compare it to Cade or Voidwalker, like we did with those, the first 4 issues will set up a lot of what I just talked about there and a shitload more, and basically gets them to that point of being heroes again. And then we just throw it over the edge with all sorts of new stories. We have some arcs built and everything, but sort of always planning, 5-6 issues ahead, because we don't want any of this like power creep or event creep where we're just sort of crippling the momentum we have early on by doing too big of villains and things like that. We want to get people interested in the characters and tell really good stories that also happen to have lots of action and cool shit in them. Kayla, actually, we joked around for a while. We talked about like there's been an ongoing joke for a long time about a lunch issue because of that fucking X-Men lunch issue a couple years back now with the hot dog that tasted like bigotry. We want to do something like that. We have plans for a Christmas special. I guess it'd be like an annual sort of thing. That is very near and dear to me, and I didn't think it would be like that. I started writing stuff for it and came up with a lot of awesome ideas, and then pitched it to Kayla and Mike, my co-creator on Can't Kill Cade. And both of them like understood it, got what I was going for. It's sort of equally split between like heartfelt Christmas stories and fun holiday stories. We got characters from all different walks of life, so we got like a little Hanukkah story, stuff like that, without ever forcing it down your throat. They're just interesting stories, and that's what this whole weekend was about, was getting together. And it was like, okay, if we want to do something like this without it feeling ham-fisted and preachy and actually getting everybody in the mood for the holidays, how do we do that? And then I had this idea for there's a big team-up issue, probably about 10 issues in, and it's with Heretic from the team, and she goes out with another female hero for the night. And I didn't have a hook for it. I didn't have like a heart to it. Like, what are we trying to teach people or tell people with this story? Because I want to sort of lay out you always want to lay out some sort of ideal or moral or theme, without again being preachy or forceful. I'm just trying to, hey, here's a different way to think, or here's a different perspective on things. Maybe you read it and it doesn't apply to you. It doesn't work for you. That's also completely fine, but it makes you reflect on things. I want to get a reaction out of people again, and I want it to be a good reaction. I don't want it to be like a lot of popular media nowadays where it seems like the intent is to piss off an audience rather than entertain one. So we wrote this really cool lady team up, and then me and Kayla just bouncing ideas, had a couple other ideas come up that turned into essentially a brilliant plan for a romance issue that Kayla's probably going to write, which will be another cool thing too. I'm looking to get some guest writers in for inventory issues on Hellseekers, some standalone stories and stuff like that. But yeah, there's going to be lots of cool shit going on. Scorn Game I have not played. I thought that looked gnarly, but have not checked it out yet. That's one I'll have to get on PC. What's up, DJ? Bored at work. I am bored at home, so I feel you, dude. Worked all day, and now I'm just sort of wide awake ranting. Yeah, but Hellseekers has a ton going on, and it does tie into the Voidwalker universe and everything that's going on. It'll expand on things. You'll start seeing a lot of different guys, sort of like the Superman of our universe, the peak of humanity and stuff like that. Lots of just insane characters that like Jeff and Ryan have been hearing me rant about for probably like at least a year. Ryan for years now, like probably 3-4 years. A lot of the ideas from Hellseekers were originally pitches for Marvel and Valiant. I was talking to editors, was getting really good feedback, and then they just didn't like who I talked to on Twitter. So things sort of fell apart from there. But I was getting tons of really good feedback from CB Cebulski, lots of other pros behind the scenes, and then I got ghosted. And essentially my pitch for Ghost Rider became Dead Strike, who is, let me see if I can pull up the Dropbox. Let me see if I have any of it on Dropbox. Yeah, I'll see if I can pull up a team photo. Vince did a cover, but since Vince stepped down, we're redoing the cover. Yeah, here we go. So Kevin did this one a while ago, and it's actually like down to the logo. This was going to be an inventory issue. The colors are dog shit. It was more just like slapped together really quickly for fun. This was early on when I didn't know what the hell I was doing with colors. I colored this, but yeah, so I had I'll zoom in on this in a second. So I had a pitch for Ghost Rider and Moon Knight at Marvel and Punisher, but the Punisher one has just become a lot of the Liberator stuff, Operation Phantom Ender and all of that, which is going to be a fucking awesome inventory issue. I think we decided around issue 15 or something like that. So what we had was, he was called the Forgotten Ghost Rider, and he was supposed to be like a looming Ghost Rider who had been around the whole time. There's a lot to him and everything, but he was of Mexican descent, was like a mechanic and biker and a bunch of different shit. Got mixed up with the wrong crowd and ends up dying. Became this sort of like D-list Ghost Rider that no one's ever heard of. And his weapon was just like one of them was a crowbar on a chain, and the other one was like a big meat hook on a chain, and he alternated both of those, kind of like Kratos style in God of War. But we changed him up a bit, and he became Deadstrike, who's this guy. So these aren't their hero outfits. This was supposed to be them all. Yeah, I wasn't aware of Robbie Reyes, Mitch. That was part of they were iffy, because isn't Robbie... I didn't know if Robbie was Mexican or Puerto Rican or what, but yeah, I found out after the fact. And they actually pitched like, oh, maybe we can tie him into the Reyes lore, and that was the only real thing I'd have to do is a little bit of finagling and change the last name, because it's like Arturo Vargas or something like that. He's tan. Yeah, he doesn't really have much of a soul in the character. But yeah, he became this gold guy, Deadstrike, here, who has the cross mask, which is sort of the only real semblance of a superhero outfit for him right now. He's this guy, gold arms and the gold head, wearing the vest here. So early on, he's essentially referred to as Heaven's Harbinger of Death. He's sort of a hitman for God. But these guys make a deal with heaven, essentially knowing that the horrible shit they're going to do to the evil in the world is still technically a sin and going to exclude them from getting past the pearly gates eventually. So the only contact he actually has with heaven is St. Peter, who is literally just like a dude hanging outside the gates at like a podium, and he's sort of like his microchip. He's really fucking weird. Liberator is sort of our super soldier, Captain America type. He's a disillusioned soldier who, you know, did the good guy thing, still keeps his oath and everything, but doesn't answer to the man anymore. Answers to his own convictions and morals, and that's a big part of the reason he walks away from being a hero at the time. He was referred to as the prototype when he was originally made. He's a sort of indestructible super soldier. As long as he ingests protein, he can essentially come back from anything. They just need his heart. He's got 2 matching pistols, Truth and Justice. He's got some other weapons and shit. We are working on their finalized hero costumes right now, but he is sort of the all-American super-powered brawler. He's got a little bit of everything other than flight, really. And we explore that in the series, which is why I'm being vague about things. This early concept is actually down to the logo and everything. This is just a riff on if you guys are familiar with it, this is the Monster Squad movie poster. This is literally just the Monster Squad movie poster with Hellseekers instead. We got Heretic in back with her fucking punk rock hair blowing up in the air. She's sort of the Doctor Strange of the group. She's a necromancer, and just a teenage punk kid. She's like just turning 18, venturing out on her own. Gets mixed up with a real seedy bunch, and she's one of the ones that's not a member of the original team. She comes on board at the beginning of the series. That's what the first arc is about. Heretic is sort of taken under the wing of this group of fucking wild dudes, and it gives them a bit of a purpose to actually do better and be better for that younger generation, and vice versa. She's kind of pushing the team and showing them that, like, yeah, with the right team together, they can give it a real go a second time and make something special happen. Yes, Jeff is doing the art now, and possibly some guest artists on inventory issues and stuff. Definitely some guest artists on the Christmas special and the annual I want to do. Definitely have a lot of guest artists if I have it my way. Hopefully including Vince too. Like Vince left amicably. He got a really good job doing his own thing. It's just going to be busy, and basically said he wouldn't have the time to commit to an ongoing series like this deserves, and chose to step away from it because he wants the book to get out to people. He knows most of the story. Like, he knows all the insane shit we've had planned for a really long time, more than possibly even Jeff and Ryan right now. But he will hopefully be back, at least for an inventory issue, if not more. So Heretic is sort of like our little wizard chick. She's real cool, and again, her powers are explored in the book, so I don't want to get too big into it. By the end of issue 1, pretty much all these guys are here together, so I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just sort of giving you a primer. This guy right here in the green jumpsuit, hooded jumpsuit, and the combat boots, On Red Mask here, he's referred to as the Face. Is Lou Williamson, and he's one of my favorite characters. He has no known powers. Ironically, he's an Afghanistan war vet, which is why I was like, oh, weird, all this shit is happening right now, now that we're launching this. He's inspired by a lot of friends I grew up with that went off and served in the war, and he's got a lot of great stories that I'm excited to tell with him. And he's just like, he's fucking legit boots on the ground, like street level, like Batman brawler character. He's one of my favorite. He's not wearing them right now, but when he gets his superhero outfit, he has a pair of brass knuckles that match his creepy red mask. His red mask is a mask he actually found while he was overseas during service, and that's all of them sort of have their own story arc going on in the series, and that's one of the early things on explored in like his personal arc is the mask, who he is, why he's kind of the quiet one on the team early on, only speaks when he needs to. He's really calculated. His superpower is almost just like his brains and his brawn. I'm clearly white. Yes, he is a black man. But yeah, Lou's like one of my favorite characters on the team, and like one of the first things I ever wrote for him was the short that Vince actually did for the Zero issue, which will probably end up being broken up into little stories for the annual or something, because I still want to use those for sure. This guy on the end here is Mason Crowley. He's got the like hunting orange sweater and jeans. You can't see it, but he also has a bow. He's sort of a southern fried hunter type, bit of our Hawkeye, but there's also a little bit more to him, which I'll show you real quick from one of the half-colored Hellseekers pieces Vince did that was going to be a cover. Yeah. So these colors are dog shit. They're a mess. But this is because like I had a bunch of layers turned off. This is essentially flats and some of the blood. That's the other thing. In that other one, the Monster Squad one, Killbot isn't in the photo, which is the sixth and final member of the team. He's a robot with a human soul. He doesn't remember whose soul or what human he was. He just remembers his initials, KB, and he goes by Killbot, and you can see him in the back over here. Let me... Oh, hi, Killbot. There he is. Little trash can man. Yeah, he's a little robot. His backstory is a mystery for now. You're going to find out about that in a very big part. But yeah, Killbot's another one of my favorite characters. I can't fucking zoom out now. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, share again. Yeah, this might be a variant cover or something. There's a black and white version of this for the Zero issue, so if you're one of the lucky few that snatched up a copy of the Zero issue on the City of Rot campaign, you got a black and white cover of this with the wraparound and everything. So yeah, we got Heretic floating here. Lou over here in the back. Liberator up front here, some dead zombie guys around. And then, yeah, so what I was showing was Mason Crowley is bow and arrow, Hawkeye, hunter type guy part of the time. The other part of the time, he's like the Hulk of the group, and he's a giant fucking werewolf. And then, yeah, Deadstrike over here, which this little touch Vince threw in of the smoking hand coming up with the skull in the smoke at the top. I fucking love that. Bullet casings all over the ground and everything. Guns are all ridiculous. We were like, guns should look just enough like a real gun, and then off the fucking deep end like a 90s comic book gun. And Vince has been doing a really good job of that. The only time you see like accurate guns is if the moment calls for it. But yeah, this is like I wish I had the actual final colors. I have like 2 versions of this, and they're both not the finals. Let me see. I guess I could show the Operation Phantom Ender poster. That's another fun one. Yeah, so this is a piece from Kevin. This is going to be further down the line. If the book's selling well, people are reading it and digging it, words getting out and everything. We need to obviously make it sustainable. We're hoping to hit that by the end of year 1. Without really crowdfunding or anything would be fucking awesome. But yeah, this will be probably a year or so in. We'll get to this. You guys have seen the top of this as my Twitter banner for a while. Let me get this set up really quick. But yeah. So we have here Big Bad in the series, sort of Liberators, other side of Liberators coin, I guess you could say. This was a Bloodshot pitch we had. Me and Kevin had set up something to send to Valiant, and then the person we had an in with left Valiant. Yeah. Operation Phantom Ender is sort of the story of why they walked away. The original team was called the Dead Patriots, and they were a collective of all different heroes, and they were led by the Liberator, who eventually retired and disappeared to his ranch in Texas, where Hellseekers picks up. And this one is absolutely fucking bonkers. Yeah, and Antos took over. Who ironically, not starting shit or anything, but she retweeted Kayla this week. That what got you into comics post, I believe, which is hilarious. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff already locked and loaded with Hellseekers. And like leading up to this, we have that opening arc while also introducing a couple of new characters and heroes and stuff like that. And then team up issues. Like, let me see if I have the file right here. I'm not going to show it, but yeah. Yeah, so we got an annual that I want to do probably at the end of year 1. Hellbound for the Holidays #1, which is the first Christmas special we're ever going to do, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shorts in it. Lots of cool stuff. There's a team up with the Face and Silver Slayer. Really cool one. So Deadstrike and Deadstrike and Killbot are like good friends and team up together regularly. And in the Christmas special, they before the team gets back together, they team up regularly. They're basically like a duo on the side, and they hunt down like monsters and supernatural shit. But it's like really small time 2-bit jobs. It's almost like Scooby-Doo special type stuff that ends up being bullshit 9 times out of 10 and not making them any money. They're sort of just barely getting by at the beginning. And once the team is like on its feet and doing better, and that first Christmas issue or Christmas special comes out, they have a team up where they go out hunting a monster again, and it's like one of my favorite ones. It's absolutely retarded. What's the time frame for launch on Hellseekers? Me and Jeff are hoping to have a first issue coming out at Alterna early next year if it all works out. Obviously, that has to do with Alterna's scheduling and everything, and we still have to go through the submission process like regular boys. But yeah, we don't get any special treatment or anything, but we're confident in it, and if Pete can get it things are going well at Alterna, and we just had a big meeting, so even if I had to pay up front for the first issue to come out that first quarter, I will totally do it. That's how confident I am in the first issue. We're also going to do a limited edition trading card, super old school, and I think I'm going to pay to bag and board all of the first issue copies at Alterna. Yeah, I'm trying to get it straight into Alterna. I want it on newsprint with the rest of the boys. That means now they'll also have fold-out posters in them, so maybe we'll do a fold-out poster of the fucking either the Vince cover or we'll just do Jeff's cover, because I think we're going to do a wraparound cover for the first issue with Jeff. Either way, maybe we'll just do it with their classic superhero outfits. It is a killer first issue. It is absolutely bonkers and all over the place. We're talking about making it a double. So it might end up being either 44 or 48 pages when it's all done. We really want it to be a banger. Big ass issue. If we can, I want it to be the normal like $2 price tag. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. $2 price tag, bagged and boarded. You can get it right on Alterna's website with a trading card in there. It gets you basically the primer that you got here tonight, and throws you on the path for the first story. That story is wrapped up in the second issue, and without spoiling what's happening, third issue, we get right into all sorts of goodness, which is what this outline is. I think we have 40 issues here. Sorry, 30 issues here right now. Operation Phantom Ender is issues 10, 11, and 12. So I think I said 20 before. That was me clearly misspeaking. Yeah, issue 1 is Texas Nightmare Part 1 of 2. Issue 2 is Texas Nightmare Part 2 of 2. Yeah, lots. Right after that, we have a team up in Ransom City for the first time. Issue 4 is What Bubbles Below, where they go to the Midwest and meet with a water-based hero. Go ahead and make it a double. Oh yeah, it's I'm pretty sure that one's going. I think we need the 48 pages. Not that it's hard to get people on board. Like literally, Mitch, that's what I was saying. Like, ideally, down the road, I want to do like the classic, like X-Men TMNT beat 'em up style game. That's just like I've have like a little thing written in a notebook for it somewhere that I was calling Ransom City Renegades, and the whole idea was it was just going to be the shared universe. You could play as different characters. At one point, I started spriting out a Voidwalker to the actual like framework of the original X-Men beat 'em up that I grew up on. But yeah, that's the idea, is to eventually do something like that, where you can play as all the different characters. Yeah, so what else do we got here? Maybe I'll tell you guys about one of the Christmas stories. Those Who Slay Together, that's the Silver Slayer 2 and Face team up. That one's really fun. We have, I'm not going to say this guy's name right now, but we have the first issue of our Cosmic Space Fantasy. So that'd probably be the first inventory issue that's not an outright, what's it called? An outright, like, Hellseekers issue. That one, it's the first part of a story that eventually ties into Hellseekers, but it's another guy's story. A very cool character. If you grew up on, if you were big into like Prophet and Crypt, it's got big Plat vibes. I might try and get a guest artist for that. Issue 8 is an awesome fucking Liberator standalone issue that sort of kicks off the Phantom Ender stuff. Yeah, Cosmic Space Fantasy with horror. Yeah, it ties into Voidwalker, among other things. Like, it's a lot going on, guys. Like, when I pitched this to Mitch originally, Mitch looked at me like I was a crazy person. It was like I cooked a Thanksgiving dinner while he was here, and I cooked dinner, we ate, and we talked for like 6.5 hours about all the plans and everything that ties together. There's the Architects, which is like the gods of our world, that created everything. They tie into Neverender, so you get that's the cosmic, like, grand sweeping. You're gonna see a version of Spencer you've never seen before, writing some wild fantasy. And who knows where the book will be by then. If the book's doing really good, we might be able to afford to get a very special guest artist that I've been talking to for a while that would work within those parameters. Yeah, if we did crowdfund it, essentially what we would do was I would crowdfund it, I would still do it newsprint style, and I would have to figure out a way to make it like valuable for you dudes to pay like $20 to get it, and then you would get the giant size first issue, and ideally it would come straight from Alterna, printed on newsprint already. And then however much like overfunding we hit, we would figure out stretch goals where we'd just be able to fund issue 2 and 3, and then, you know, they would come straight from Alterna. If I can set that all up with Peter and everything, like, that would be the dream. But I also would just like to not have to crowdfund at all, and then they just come out from Alterna. I don't know if it'll go weekly, but we do want to get it to monthly. And I can say right now, at quarterly, we have 5 years planned for sure. And that's with some extra inventory issues some quarters. So, like, if it were quarterly, 4 to 8 issues a year, if we can get it to a point where me and Jeff can go full time with this, which is why I'm writing screenplay shit on the side. You guys have heard a ton about it already, but essentially I'm trying to sell some screenplay shit to bring in more money, because then I can go full time and afford to pay Jeff to go full time to do this shit, and we can just fucking fully invest in this, because I want to do at least 100 issues with this series. If Jeff's in for the long haul, I will fucking do this till the wheels fall off and I'm brain dead. There's a lot going on. This is pulling in everything I love. I want to eventually do a team up with Voidwalker. Voidwalker, he isn't in Hellseeker's mainline series early on, I'll say, but you will see him in the first year if we do the Christmas special, because there is a little Christmas special short that I wanted to do. Cade will probably have one too, but there is a Voidwalker one already like lightly scripted out. So you will get to see that at some point. And I've talked to dudes like a lot of them are obviously busy with their own books and stuff right now, but I hit up Narwhal ages ago. He knows I want him to do a short for either the annual or the Christmas special. Carlo Rowe, Ryan, obviously. Jeff will most likely do one like he does with the mainline series. Some other people. We're still hoping we can get Frega on either a variant cover or just a cover for one of the issues. I'm going to do more guest covers this time around. People are going to know in the credits who's the artist and everything, but I want to get more just fucking kick-ass covers all around and let indies shine. What's up, Simonon? Man, that female character you introduced in the later books of Voidwalker, she's so damn cool. Love her demonic look as well. Vanquisher. Yeah, that is Amelia Mercado. She got a complete overhaul because she's supposed to be like technically Latino. I think in the description, her dad's Irish, her dad's Puerto Rican, and her mom's Irish. Jesus, sorry, I've been drinking tonight. Yeah, she's one of the detectives on the Ransom City police force, and ends up binding with a. I'm always wondering if I should say this. Binding with a Beyonder. Yeah. In the series and becoming Vanquisher, another hero in the world, I guess. We don't really elaborate on that. We get into that in the Voidwalker stuff in the future. Hopefully sometime next year. Yeah. That's the other thing. I got to figure out how we're going to cycle everything. Like, how many issues of Voidwalker a year, Can't Kill Cade, stuff like that. It'll be cool, though. What else were we talking about here? Yeah, issue 8's that cool Liberator. It's sort of a versus issue. Liberator versus another rad villain. Issue 9 is Grave Danger, where Liberator descends into the graves, which is the lab where he was created. And that sets up for Operation Phantom Ender, which is the next 3 issues. So essentially, right now, if it were quarterly, year 4 would be the Operation Phantom Ender arc. So it's obviously a ways out, but we're looking to do more in that time frame. and there's a shitload beyond there. Dude, the Donda performance was fucking insane. Absolutely amazing. I'm like, I don't listen to a ton of rap nowadays. I used to listen to shitloads of it. But that is an album I cannot fucking wait for. I was like just ranting to my girlfriend today, and she was like nodding blankly at me. Take It Easy, Rex. Yeah, that performance was fucking so wild too. Just the like, it's a really fucking like weirdly moving thing too. I haven't had the horrible experience of losing my own mother, luckily yet, but fucking him being able to like recreate his like childhood home, like piece for piece, in it was like a giant performance art piece. And then to play the album, there's a couple of songs on there that I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like hoping I can get that whole thing on like vinyl. It's insane. Yeah. I was actually rewatching the performance this morning when all of them started getting copyright struck and pulled off of YouTube. Could not overstate my looking forward to that album. Oh, here's another really fun one that me and Vince did ages ago that some of you might have seen too. There's going to be an ad in the back of the books here. Yeah, this is going to start going in the back of like Hellseekers issues, and hopefully other Alterna books would follow suit and do their own. The Liberator wants you to read more comics. Oh, it's huge now. Yeah. Lots of stuff, lots of plans. It's going to be an interesting time while also running the Death Curse stuff, where Jeff's actually working through issue 1 of Return to Camp Rainbow right now. So if we crowdfund anything, that'll be crowdfunded. And a collected edition of Voidwalker, most likely with, I don't know if it's going to be back matter or just a guest gallery, because I've gotten so many fucking insanely awesome pieces from so many amazing artists. Did you listen to that band that wrote 43 songs for one album and you can put the songs in any order and still a full song? What? That's confusing. What's up, Colin? Yeah. Trying to think of anything else. Other stuff. There's lots planned. I want to tell you guys about different characters, but I don't want to spoil it for you. When we get back into present day again and out of Operation Phantom Ender, shit goes off the deep end. Issue 14 is a very weird horror issue that gets we finally intro the character that was inspired by My Accident. Did you miss me? Of course, Colin. We always miss the boys. Issue 15 is called Breaker Protocol, and I'm not going to elaborate on that. That's a Liberator issue. 16 is a look inside the Supermax prison that Liberator and past superhero teams helped populate, which is a weird one. It's like a documentary issue. Think of, what is it? Like Locked Up, but with supervillains. And our our sort of April O'Neil or April O'Neil. Justice is Blind. Yeah, and issue 20 is another. 19 and 20 is another 2-part culmination. Sort of mini arc. It's basically, there's always an overall story going on with all the characters that's always developing and pushing them forward, revealing more about them. And then issue to issue, it might be a little standalone team up. It might be a big team up or something. But it's always going to be a solid contained story. And then every once in a while, you're going to get maybe a 2-parter, a 3-parter, a 4-parter in the middle of all of it. But those, again, are always going to be a story that stands on its own. Beyond Twilight for the love, art, and the making. I am too drunk to taste that chicken. Oh yeah, I can't tell you what issue 21 is or 22. But that's when we start having a shitload of characters. Oh, and by issue, I think by the end of issue 2, everybody's in there. I think issue 2, everybody's in their superhero get-ups and getting down, like, regularly. Yeah. And that's a big reveal, which is why we basically can't do it on the opening issue. What's Rossi going to be working on in Death Curse? No comment! No comment at all. Yeah. I'm still working on figuring out some private funding outside of crowdfunding, because Death Curse is multiple books. So if I could, like, it would be really complicated to, like, the only way I could really do a campaign is for the Death Curse stuff is do it all as one thing, give you like a solicit pitch for each of the books and maybe like 5 pages for each of the books. And then it would come in like a nice mailer box. I don't know if anybody's gotten books from like Iconic Comics. Really like what they're doing. It'd be similar to them. Lots of other guys have been doing the mailers too, but I just got one of them more recently, so it's like fresh in my head. It's like sitting next to me currently. I got my copy of Long Harbor in, which was fantastic. Nashitobi and was it Alejandro Maribal? Probably butchering his name, but fantastic artist and great writing from Nash. Really, really enjoyed that. Actually passed it off to Kayla for her to read and was like, read this. And it was like, when you get fucking back, just buy your own copy because I know you're going to want to own it. But yeah, the only way it makes sense, because I wouldn't want to crowdfund them all as separate books over a long period of time. I just want to pay for it all as one big print run, get them all out, get them all to you guys, and it would be like first issues of, you'd be getting the #1 for Kayla's debut book, you'd be getting the #1 for Camp Rainbow, you'd be getting the #1 for I don't want to say all of them. You'd be getting a #1 for at least 5 books, and then a #1 for a secret indie book that's not technically a Death Curse creator. We wanted to do something called Secret Variant Club, where we find a smaller indie creator. We help them do a limited print run of maybe it's a book they've already printed before, or they have digitally online or something that they've never printed before. We help them do a limited print run with a brand new cover that you can only get through Death Curse. It's got a nice Death Curse corner box and everything. It's released through us. It's distributed through us. And it pays out to them. They get comp copies. And we have a cool-ass book to give out to our readers. The #1 for Mitch Rockidge before he chokes a bitch. eventually I'd like to get it to a point where the Patreon is sort of like a subscription service for something like that. If we got enough readership, we would just switch over to a quarterly thing like that. I would have my Ransomverse stuff at Alterna, and we would just fulfill, you'd get like 5 Death Curse books quarterly, advancing different series until they're done. Kayla's got a 4-parter with Crimson and Alabaster, which was basically a story I came up with for her to get her feet wet and get more comfortable with comic writing. She hit the ground running. She's actually coming back over to stay at my place when she gets back from Hawaii, so we can go over all of the details on that and finalize essentially all 4 scripts at once and get those off to the artist for art. Would you do your own version of It Came Out on a Wednesday? It wouldn't be exactly It Came Out on a Wednesday, but similar. It'd probably be more adult stuff because Death Curse is definitely gonna have some edgier content. It's on par with like 80s horror movies. It's not as exactly as like lighthearted as Eerie or Creepy Magazine or It Came Out on a Wednesday, and it's gonna be most likely very like straightforward horror. Like I don't want to do like genres and sci-fi and stuff. Like It Came Out on a Wednesday is a little more open-ended, which I like, but I want to keep what we're doing more horror focused. But we do have some plans, and we've actually got some other people like tentatively involved in it. Once, like I said, once we financially get to a point where we can afford to do that, that would again probably be either an annual thing starting out or a quarterly thing starting out. I'm not going to say the name about it here or anyone involved in it, but it's something we've been talking about for a very long time and have lots of ideas for. We'd be able to potentially take some submissions for comic shorts and horror short stories and stuff like that, and ideally pay contributors for it with both some monetary compensation and some comp copies. I get that. iCow is the perfect descriptor for something on shelves today that's similar to it. It's just like I never want to even be perceived to be competing with Pete because I'm not going anywhere. I absolutely love Alterna, and I'm going to have the Ransomverse stuff there as long as Pete wants me. If I could do Death Curse as just an Alterna imprint, I would do that straight up. But that's a lot of like legal logistics that both me and Pete don't want to deal with. And it's a lot easier to just run it as a separate thing and work as like an underling company. Who's gotten great advice from Pete over the years. Horror anthology with an R rating. And not necessarily just like hard R, like there's going to be nudity and swearing and stuff. I don't want to restrict people. I don't want to limit something where I lay out these rules and somebody doesn't fucking submit an awesome story they had because of some swear words in it or something, or a penis. I want to see the stories first, and then I'll use my best judgment. But yes, there's an idea for it. We sort of have a horror host for it, who's fantastic. She is well known in the horror community. Some of you dudes may have already been told about it, but it is a secret. It's gonna be cool though. And we're hoping with that, Kayla will be able to do some interviews with people in the horror scene, maybe talk about movies and stuff, get some recommendations in there. That's why I think that works better as like a like an annual or a quarterly, where it's more just like a fun pop culture magazine for horror culture with a ton of comics in it. Sort of like imagine if iCow and Fangoria made a baby, like old school Fangoria or Gorezone, where it's predominantly comics, and then you'll get some other stuff, some editorial stuff, maybe just some spot illustrations from horror artists. I would really like to do like awesome painterly covers and stuff like Eerie and Creepy used to do. Really just want to bring back the shit I grew up loving. The things that got me absolutely hyped for comic books. That's what I want to be doing. Oh, damn. Mitch is already making shit. Sending me photos on Twitter. I can't look at Twitter while I'm doing this. Yeah, and then I got the movie stuff where I'm split between this first screenplay, sell it to these dudes, or if they don't want to buy it for a good price, produce it ourselves and hope we can fucking sell it for something when it's all done. But that'll be like over the next year after thing. But if you're a patron, you saw like yesterday or the day before now, it was just not like pertinent news or anything crazy, but basically announced talking with the Headshot dudes a little bit about potentially doing it ourselves. I know I can do a lot of the costuming work and stuff like that, but I would want like a full crew to really make it look fucking great and actually turn out to be a decent movie in the end that will entertain people. And I can do a lot of the gore effects and stuff like that with the right budget. But location is a big thing, and casting is a big thing for me. We essentially need a giant warehouse that we can fuck around with is probably the simplest way to describe it. And then it's a fairly sizable cast of mostly dudes, and then the women that are in it are essentially in bondage gear, like body harnesses and stuff. There's a few female roles that aren't, but they're very small, and the subject material of the movie is dark all around. So it's a hard pitch for a lot of people, but Hans from the Headshot crew pointed me in the direction of a couple comedians in like the New York and Philly scene. Some I was already familiar with, some I was not, but they also do some acting, are interested in acting, and one of them in particular that I reached out to is a dead ringer for the concepts we did for the main character. I'm currently finishing up the screenplay, should hopefully have it done by the end of this month, so like end of this weekend basically at this point. I'll be printing up a hard copy to send off to him with the police uniform, the like sheriff's uniform that I have. We have a name badge and a sheriff's badge as well coming in, like a decent old school replica that was just for some test photos that are going to go up on the Patreon as an exclusive over there. And that's when we're going to reveal who he is. Some people might not know who he is. I was familiar with some of his stuff through another comedian, which I'm not going to reveal right now because it might ruin it. But hilarious dudes. The one we're talking to also happens to be I believe involved in some amateur like pro wrestling type of stuff and is completely cool with doing his own stunts. Wants to do some table reads and possibly some test shoots. I might go up there in October and shoot him on 8mm for a little while and just get a little bit of test footage with him with actual grain and see how it's going. Maybe do a short film or something early on. But he's got the look, and I'm hoping that with some meetings with him and some talking with him, we can really dial in the character and get him on the right page, because I'm trying to do something really like old school Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe, where no one in frame is really a known name. If I had a huge bank, I would want to get a setup mag like Japanese Shonen Jump mag, where all black and white, cheap, nasty paper costs like $5. It's phone book thick. Yeah, that'd be impossible in America. I don't know what rates are like in Australia, but even just if you started out doing like a 48 pager like that, and you just have, like 4 to 8 page stories and mix it up with some like 1 and 2 pagers and shit like that, that is totally doable. Especially if you start out just crowdfunding as like an annual or something. You just essentially have to get a couple of those shorts like paid for and done, which is probably easier than doing a whole series. You come up with some solid like shorts, or have some friends to write them too, and you're willing to pay the artists to do them and everything. You basically just need to write really good work for hire contracts or whatever if you're going to own it, or if if it's work for hire and they're just going to make a short story and you're going to own all of it at the end. Make sure those contracts are tight, and you pay people good, and people will be lining up to do it. And then first one's a success, you just keep building on that. Then you can do reprints of the first issue. You do them as annuals, quarterlies, however it's expanding. I'm surprised there's not more of that nowadays, but a lot of people aren't willing to put their money where their mouth is. There's supposedly a bunch of comic pros making tons of money in the industry, but none of them ever seem to actually invest their own money back into like releasing more comic books. It's just making more comics with the big two, or Ad Image, which is weirdly just sort of like throwing money into a hole at this point, or IP into a hole. What's up, Ryan? What's up, Ben? Good to see you, dudes. Yeah, it's been insanity. We just did a hangout, and I talked a shitload about Hellseekers and all the things coming together with that. Just ideas, overall plans, lots of ranting. Yeah, I can't really think of much else. It's been a good couple of weeks. It's just been very busy. Basically, Hellseekers, we need to do 4 issues in the Christmas special for the first year. Totally doable. Get some hot boys on for some inventory issues too. I got some friends that aren't incredibly online either that might be interested too, so I might be able to get some other guys. I just got here. Can you start over? No, rewind. You got to watch all hour and 13 minutes of insanity. Just talked a little bit about all the characters and got into like some of the outline and stuff without spoiling too much, kind of just giving like solicits that wouldn't ruin overall story arc. All good things though. The team's going to be a lot of fun. We talked a little bit about the Death Curse stuff, plans with that. I don't want to reveal too much. There's a lot of guys involved that aren't necessarily doing a book immediately or anything. Hopefully we'll be able to get them to at least do like a guest pinup for a different book, sort of cross-pollinate all of them. Yeah, lots and lots of plans. Your dude's support helps. That's why we've been doing the podcast. It's weirdly been helped getting the name out more. We got new people showing up thanks to Kayla's interviews. We're actually, if you notice, the podcast is all off of this page right now. It's going to be uploaded onto a second channel soon because Kayla boss ladied me and basically just doesn't want us to get community struck for any of our dumb bullshit on the podcast. So it'll be on a second channel where it'll be completely safe. And this channel will have Kayla's interviews, these stream hangouts and stuff like that. It'll always be a good time. Death Curse channel won't be changing. There'll just be a second channel that have the podcast backlogs on it. We're also still up on, I think it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, a couple other places, but they're all bullshit platforms. Those are the two big main ones, and YouTube. I'll be uploading newer episodes soon, getting the backlog up to date for both of those. But right now there's at least like 10 episodes on each platform. It's absolutely fucking bonkers. And if you want to get them regularly up to date, you can back the Patreon for $1 or more and get in on all of it. We got bigger tiers and everything. I actually, now that the move is pretty much squared away, I gotta get the fucking the screen printing table mounted up and get some shirts printed for some of the dudes. If you're watching and you're one of those dudes, I know Mitch is. If you're one of the ballers on the Patreon, you're gonna have some shit coming your way soon. I believe I owe people some other stuff. Just been in City of Rot damage control, getting that all caught up. But we will get you dudes squared away. I have not forgotten about you. And I'm trying to get more stuff together for the Patreon. Like I said earlier, thinking about reaching out to some other comedians and stuff. Want to get some of the headshot guys back on. I might be personally getting on their show soon to do an episode. Yeah, not sure yet, but it's gonna be a good time. We're talking about maybe I need to talk to Jeff because I know he's got a PS4 as well. Like a monthly gaming night. I'm thinking about doing like a Friday the 13th night or something. I mentioned it on Twitter tonight while I was drinking. Just something where we can kick back with the Patreon dudes and do some dumb shit. Maybe I'll stream it. We can all hang out and murder each other. If I can't get stuck on the way in, is it worth it? Beautiful. Lovely stuff. Yeah, I've been going for about an hour and almost 20 minutes, ranting plenty. Not much else I can really talk about at this point. I think I'm going to go write a little bit more on Copenhagen because I want to get that shit out very soon and get it all announced and show you guys who the fuck we're talking to and how, like, weird it is, weirdly perfect. I said it to the dudes. It's as if I wrote the character description and then Kevin and Christian illustrated it. And then that guy came to life as like a 30-year-old man. Yeah, game night. Yeah, we'll all play Friday the 13th, and we'll all play as boy counselors, and we'll all wear the bikinis. No mention of Danzig whatsoever. I retweeted him tonight with Brock Lesnar, man. Somebody was saying him and Brock Lesnar as Wolverine and Old Man Wolverine and Sabretooth, and I was like, oh, God. Although Brock Lesnar Sabretooth would be wild. Just the angriest Sabretooth ever. Yes, back to game dev, Mitch. Huzzah. Yeah. We got lots coming down the pipe. The podcast is funnier than ever. It's getting real dumb. It's easily one of my favorite things to do every week. Writing comics and doing that. If I could do that for the rest of my life, I could die happy, laughing like an idiot. So thank you all, dudes. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Thanks for backing the books. Thanks for reading the books, getting them on Alterna. Thanks for being patrons of us. Just fucking being all around kick-ass dudes. I appreciate the shit out of it. I know the dudes do. And we'll be seeing you soon. Take it easy, dudes.